The Analects of Confucius records the words and deeds of the ancient Chinese philosopher Confucius. Written somewhere between the Spring and Autumn period and the Warring State, more than 2,000 years ago, it highlights the political, ethical, and moral ideas of Confucius and Confucianism. Merely around 10,000 characters in length, it deeply shaped the thinking and behavioural modes of the Chinese people in the 2,000 plus years after its birth. Ren is a core concept in the Analects of Confucius. With original meanings of benevolence and loving others, Ren was adopted by Confucius to represent a high moral standard that encompasses all virtues. Inwardly, Ren is the ultimate moral pursuit of an individual. Outwardly, Ren is the overriding principle for rulers to keep peace and run a country. Confucius advocates moderating one's desires and returning to propriety. He stresses that self-discipline is the prerequisite for practicing the rules of propriety and achieving benevolence. Confucius called those who reached his moral standard the benevolent people, or junzi. As the highest standard of behavior for a junzi, the doctrine of the mean advocates impartialness and moderateness. Confucianism was enshrined as the official ideology during the West Han dynasty. The Analects of Confucius later became the content in the imperial examination, and then substantially shaped the political ideas in ancient China. Sea changes have taken place in the 2,000 plus years after the birth of the Analects of Confucius. Nevertheless, it contains lots of ideas that transcend the passage of time, some of which are still relevant today. For example, Confucius asks, "Is it not pleasant to learn with a constant perseverance and application?" By posing this question, he instructs people to regularly review the knowledge they have learned and put them into practice. He dissects the dialectic relationship between learning and thinking by saying that learning without thinking is labour lost, while thinking without learning is perilous. All these advice are still highly cherished in today's academic research. The Analects of Confucius vividly depicts the images of Confucius's disciples. Zilu is straightforward and reckless. Yan Hui is moderate and capable, and Zigong is smart and eloquent. Confucius insists to teach students in accordance with their aptitude, which echoes some of the modern educational ideas today. He is thus praised as the exemplary teacher for all ages. It is noteworthy that the Analects of Confucius gives extra weight to individual values and personal integrity. For example, Confucius says, "You may rob the 3 armies of their commander, but you cannot deprive the humblest peasant of his opinion," and "Lay down one's life in pursuit of virtue." In Confucius's view, personal integrity and moral values take precedent over one's life. So, his thought has a strong humanism tendency. Confucius not only shaped the mind of the Chinese people, but also had a far-reaching impact on Europe, which witnessed a Confucius tornado in the 17th and 18th century. During Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to France in March 2019, French President Macron sent President Xi a copy of the first French version of Introduction to the Analects of Confucius, which was published in 1688. Macron admitted that earlier translation and interpretation of the Analects of Confucius midwifed the birth of the philosophies of Montesquieu and Voltaire.